I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
You guys buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of a legendary 10-song stream. We're in the middle of song number 9. It's by a band called Metal Church.
Rest in pieces.
The name of the song is Rest in Pieces. Shout out to Budding Anarchist for tiptoeing in. We found you at the gate. Come on in. You get to the VIP section. Go ahead.
April 15th, 1912. So the DJ says, had to include DJ 7 Dustin.
DJ 7.
Said he had to include a Metal Church song. This is the one that made me buy Blessed. You know, people can't read that because it's cursive. And there's a lot of people that don't read cursive anymore. People have said it. Like, what is it? Who's it for? I can't read it. Had to include a Metal Church song. This is the one that made me buy the Blessing in Disguise cassette. I wore that album out 4 different times. Wow. The lyrical topic is cool as hell, and holy shit, the riffing.
The riffing! Alright, here we go. Metal Church. Shout out to Teddy Patton. Here we go. Rest in pieces. Let's do it. Look at that. You can already tell it's about to be some shit. Look at that.
What happened on that date, I wonder? Oh, that's weird. It's going from like ear to ear.
Yeah.
Feels like he's going around. Man, those headphones that you have, those good ones.
Turn this shit up.
Titanic.
Integrity of construction.
Whoa. Oh, I needed this. Classical, baby. That verse was just crazy. Woo! Woo! He's letting that shit go! Oh, that's nice rhythm change. That is a nice rhythm change. That was Metal Church.
Wow.
That guitar solo was craziness.
You know what's also craziness was that the band played until they sunk. Like for a musician,
Yeah, that's what I heard in the
musician,
Titanic. In the Titanic, yeah.
Like if you're gonna die anyway, and obviously drowning probably is not a cool way, but especially in the freezing water circumstances.
I don't understand how would they know they were gonna die anyway? Like I would have took my chances in the gunning for a lifeboat.
You couldn't have because you were a man. They didn't put the lifeboats or the vests that they needed on there because they said it was unsinkable. So
right, yeah, I know
because
they were completely
ill-prepared.
Right.
So then they said women and children first. So the men weren't going to get on a lifeboat. I mean, that's why a lot of people ended up drowning was because the men and women went first. I mean, the women and children.
I've just
went first.
been in bad situations where it's like
you'd figure something out.
Yeah, like I've been in situations like, yo, man, like we could have died or whatever, and I I knew we were in danger, but I genuinely did not think I was gonna die. Like I felt like I was gonna find. Like a lot of times when people are like, oh, he went in there like knowing he would face his own death. Like that's not really. You don't think you're gonna die like when you're young. But I don't know. Maybe these guys were older guys and they knew they were gonna die. But like.
Well, the issue was the water was bitter cold. There was icebergs in it.
Yeah, but like psychologically, I don't know if it's like a natural selection thing. Like psychologically,
were there still survivors when they showed up?
What do you mean?
Well, when the lifeboats eventually, when the help actually
yeah,
got there.
it's not. Yeah,
so
it's
are you
not,
saying you
it's
think
not
maybe
like,
there was a mentality of like we're not gonna make it, and so it kind of makes you give up? Where if you have a fight mentality, like is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, that could be it. It could just be your disposition. I'm just saying like. Not only myself, but like I've taught, when you like go and review the situation because they're all in the same situation, and it was like, yeah, I didn't think we were gonna die. I thought we were gonna find some like your mind doesn't accept like unless it's like a plane crash or something like that. But even then, I would still feel like I'm gonna find some way after this plane goes down to like. To escape. I don't know, but
when you die and you get to the other side, I still feel like we're gonna be like, well, that was a shock. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I get it's a beautiful idea. These guys are playing as the ship is going down. I mean, by all accounts, I guess that's what happened. It's just.
I'm just saying, as a musician.
Yeah.
If you have the understanding that like it's over and basically like everybody's fighting for the life rafts, and you're like. You have two choices. You can fight to get on that life raft, but the chances are you might not get on it. Or you can just kind of accept it and you can say, you know what, there's younger people here that I'd... For me, like, if I didn't have any children, like, I would want...
Yeah, I wouldn't go fighting for a raft if there's a little kid or a pregnant woman or something.
Right, and so that's the kind of thing, like,
I'm just saying, like... I don't know. I just said there's only been like one or two situations where I thought to myself like, "Yo, like you're gonna die like right now, dude." But it was more like 2 + 2 is 4 type of thing. Like it was just a weird like this is gonna happen to you just as a fact of whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the way that you experience stuff though is unique.
Well,
I think a lot of those people were panicking.
I think the way that everybody. Which is why people end up dying more is when people panic, they trample each other and stuff. Like your acceptance of what's going to happen is not most people's disposition. Yeah,
that's one of the number one fears.
The thing is, like, it wasn't that I was accepting it. Like I wasn't accepting
that's
it
true,
at all.
because you're saying it's not
it
going
was
to happen.
not even a possibility. It was like, how am I going to get out of this?
It's the opposite.
That was like the mindset. Like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, I would never. Especially if I had like you guys to come back to, I would never just sit there and like play a song or whatever. I would brainstorm and try to find some way to get back to you guys.
Right.
I wouldn't just sit there and play some.
But what if you didn't have
whatever.
Okay, so if I didn't have any like children, like or a husband, and there was other people that they were all part of like families, like kids need their parents. So I don't know, like you don't know what you're gonna do until you're in the situation. But I don't see myself fighting for a spot on the boat if I don't have babies to come home to and leaving some other kid without a mom. So in that case, if I played an instrument, then I'd rather just play the instrument for all the people to just... And honestly, that's actually pretty romantic as far as like a musician goes. Like that's your final moments is like playing your instrument as the water covers you over.
Yeah, that's like when I saw it on TV, I was like, yeah, that's Hollywood. Like, I don't think that that's actually what happened. But again, that's what people said. But I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical. But I just look at that shit. I'm like, man, that shit is bogus, bro. Like, you especially when people like facing impending death, people panic and shit. They go crazy.
Right.
They don't. So the idea that an entire orchestra could have maintained a step upper lip as the ship is going down, like everybody just.
Oh, do you think that was just added in?
Come on, like that's not human nature. Like I've seen people when they thought they were gonna die, like they start, I don't care how gangster you are, like. Your impending death, you're just gonna sit there and play an instrument? Like I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Like, I just don't buy any of that shit. I don't buy
Maybe
any
the
of
orchestra was in the life rafts and they played from there, so they were playing to everybody else.
that. Well, yeah, I'm sure like the reality is something
maybe
else.
a violinist
And maybe
was
there
like-
was like one or two of them that are
Right.
like, fuck it, we're going down. But I guarantee you there are other people. And the thing is, it's not just lifeboats. Again, it's like you don't know like how hypothermia is going to hit you. So like there are whole segments of the boat that broke off. I'm sure people were like, yo, I just jump
yeah.
on this thing and you know
And
what I'm
how
saying?
your hands would be freezing cold and you're going to add it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
exactly,
know.
like,
I'm agree.
yeah,
I don't know. This
yeah.
is a little bit weird now.
The water
okay?
splashing everywhere,
that
these
we're-
frigid temperatures and shit. Like the water's splashing all over you, but you're able to maintain this like this composure and play this thing to the very last note as you go down. Get out of here! I don't believe that shit. Get out of here. Okay, so apparently there was only 3 musicians. It wasn't like an entire orchestra. So if there's 3 musicians on the Titanic, I could see like okay, like. Maybe you get 3 people that just like
Oh,
willingly
I pictured it
accept
was
their.
like one of those five people.
Well, yeah, that's what they
I
did
didn't
on the movie.
picture-
In the movie, it was like an
Yeah.
entire fucking orchestra or whatever.
Oh,
and they're all just doing the little British thing, and get out of here, bro. You ain't do that shit. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. I really can't tell because in those situations, I felt completely numb. I felt all the terror and shit afterward. Like when I would replay shit, and you know how my mind is, it's extremely vivid. Like that's where like I get kind of messed up. But like when the situation actually happens, like my emotions go completely to zero, And a lot of folks were like that. So like I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like people say what they would do. Like you don't know what's gonna happen until it happens. And it's not just like the concept that your life is in danger. It's the way in which your life is. Like there are just so many factors that goes into how people react in those situations. Everybody wants to believe that they would be X, Y, Z type of person. You don't know what you're gonna do until you end up in that situation.
Yeah.
The other thing is too is like. Even if you've been in that situation once, you still don't know what you're going to do. Because I've been in situations that were rather similar, and I reacted a completely different way the second time than the first time. So
Wow,
it
really?
just, yeah. So it there's so many factors. I mean, I don't know, but the Titanic, the disaster of the Titanic, like. Used to fuck with me a lot as a little kid, and
Me
Dorian
too.
kind of inherited that. Like
Yeah, and he did too. Yeah.
he had an obsession with the Titanic for like a year and a
Oh,
half.
I didn't have
like,
an obsession, but it did
oh
trouble
man,
me.
he was
completely
he would
obsessed
do
with it.
school with it, and
Yeah.
school year would be over. He's still like researching the
He was
White
researching
Star
all. He
Line,
knew
all
everything
types of
about
shit.
it. He had the model. My
Yeah.
mom gave him the model.
There was an entire orchestra on the ship, but only 3 continued playing. The rest died in the panic. Right, so that's pretty much right. Like, there was an entire orchestra. They panicked and went crazy, and, 3 maintained their composure. It's probably about 33%, which is probably about right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but, like, all the things that went wrong on that ship, it's almost like... I was listening to a missionary one time, and his dad had been killed by the savages that they were, going to talk to. And he basically said that all the coincidences that happened for that to happen, to precipitate the moment when his father died, the kid said there was no doubt that it had to be orchestrated by God. So like this kid.
Wow.
I mean, he's a grown man now, but like his reasoning as a kid was, what happened was so uncommon, and all these coincidences that he's like, it had to have been the plan, and that's how shit was supposed to go. And of course, the ladies the next week or whatever, after they buried their husbands, went back to the place and converted all those people, and it was
With their babies on their back.
It was
They went in there.
It was a glorious story, but I mean. People are very strange in the face of death, man. And I always used to be obsessed with that moment because, you watch these disaster movies, like there was one stretch where there was like a tornado disaster movie every year. And then there was what if Volcano, right? So Volcano was one of them with Pierce Brosnan and shit. And there was one where this dude got caught on a bridge, and the wave had made it so that the bridge snapped in two. So the guy's like at the top of the bridge, and he's gonna go down into the, obviously, he's finished, and he looks. He looks into the camera, and it's just this crazy look, like, because he knows he's about to die. Like, I used to get obsessed about that. Like, what are they thinking? Like, what am I going to be thinking? All that type of shit.
Really?
Yeah, when I used to watch it, like, it got to the point where I would only watch those disaster movies for those moments. Because, like, every time in a disaster movie, the guy knows that he's about to die. Like, the hero knows he's about to die. Yeah, and it was
That's
like...
so crazy.
I try to, like... put myself in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would always think, like, how would that go? That type of thing. Yeah,
See, I
got obsessed
did the
with it.
same thing as a child, but I was not obsessed with like that. Mine in regards to, I guess you could say, death or whatever, transitioning over to the other side, was always in relation to being a martyr or going as a missionary and being martyred there. Like, it was always in that context. So I never wondered what, like, I assumed that in that moment, my mother had told me a story, and actually I think it's based off of like some weird story, but she said that, like, there was a person, they were dying, they were being burned at the stake or something like that. It was some horrible thing, and they were looking for the person that they loved in the crowd because it was going to be so horrific what they were going to go through. And then, like, they caught, like, I think it was the man, and he saw the woman in the crowd, and she was walking through the crowd, and he just watched her as he was dying, but that, like, kind of helped him. And so my mother had told me, it probably sounds kind of crazy if you're not from a Christian context, but my mother had told me that story, and she told me how that when Christians die as martyrs, that, like, Jesus, he's there in that crowd, and so they look for him. And then she told me other stories in regards to that, like, with different missionaries and how they dealt with those last moments. So for me, I always thought, oh, when I die, I'm not going to be whatever, like, because I was a kid at the time. Now I'm a grown woman and I have a family, and so, like, the idea of dying in and of itself, like, in one sense sounds like rest, and then in another sense sounds like I see, like, my kids, and like Orion randomly said 2 days ago, he's like, well, he said on the stream, I love you, like, just, he's very like emotionally, like, loving toward me. And he said something like, he brought up, like, if I had, I think they play guns, and so I don't want them shooting at pretend shooting at each other. I want them, like, shooting other things. So, we had a conversation about that, and then Orion said, I don't want you to die. And he said, if you died, I would be mad at you because you died. So, like, I was like, wow, like, even at 3 years old, like, he has that, like, if he has, like, some sort of an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't know why I was saying that, so.
Yeah, that's...
but that's what I was saying, was just that death when I was a child was, I was like, well, I'm going to be going to Jesus. And, like, my entire life was Jesus. And it wasn't because my parents pushed it on me, because what I got from church was not that was not my relationship with Jesus. I learned stuff about him there, but, like, what I had with God was completely, like, almost separate from that. Like, I had something that was just like me and him. So I felt like when it's my time, it's my time. I'm going to be with Jesus. I'm going to see him face to face. I'm going to know, even as I'm known, like, the one that knows every hair on my head, like, I'm going to see that one. But again, like I said, now that I'm older and I have kids, I'm actually just now, like, kind of coming back to, like, the idea of, if God, whenever God's timing is, it's his timing, and, like, entrusting my kids to whatever God's plan is for them if something were to happen to me, because it's just crazy to think, like life is, you don't know. No guarantees.
You don't know.
No guarantees.
And you can't know. That's a...
Right.
That's a crazy thing. But, it's the current epic that we're in. Death is a part of life, and it's you gotta find ways to make peace with it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, deep stuff. Solid 9. What'd you give this one?
8.3. They definitely had some Iron Maiden vibes.
Yeah, that guitar section had that. You were like, "Hey, was that Iron Maiden?" I'm like, "Yeah, good catch." Definitely had some Iron Maiden energy in it. I'm waiting for Seven's Seven's numeral for this particular song. We got another song
right, you
coming to you,
guys.
dear listener. I think you've heard of them. The band's name is Living Color. Maybe?
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Vid out.
Sorry out.
Gone.